Hey you guys, welcome back to Lisa & Company. I am so excited you're here today because we have the most exciting playlist. This is We're in Lockdown 2.0. If you watched the last video on May 22nd, you know that we shopped the essential only aisles here at our favorite dollar stores in Ontario and created amazing DIYs with all those things that we found. And now we had so much fun with it, so the four of us are back, but guess what? We have a whole bunch of other Ontarians hanging out with us today and creating beautiful DIYs. Enough said, I'm going to tell you more about this after. Let's get started. So first up, I want to use another one of these cute little cookie containers. You can see how tiny it is compared to my hand. And of course, I got to give someone these cookies to eat, and I am pretty sure my family will look after that for me. Now I'm going to take it outside and spray paint it, and I am going to use one of the paints I used in my last lockdown video. It is this amazing Tremclad hammered metal spray paint. The cool thing with this is you don't want to do thin coats. You actually have to put quite a lot on, and that's what creates that hammered metal texture. So it's kind of foolproof and kind of fun to play around with. So you guys, what I forgot to show you is that is a piece of a Dollar Tree plunger that I cut in half, sprayed with the same hammered metal spray paint, and now I am just going to make very small holes on either end because I decided I wanted to put this one together in a more permanent fashion. Rather than using glue, I really wanted to put a couple of tiny screws through it. So first things first, create those holes using a really small drill bit, and then you're going to do the same by creating a small hole in the center of the cookie container as well as the cookie lid. I went ahead and measured to find the center of the lid, and then I placed the lid on top of the container to make sure that those holes were in exactly the same place. Then using a screwdriver, I put in these tiny little screws. I did add a little bit of E6000. I thought that would really help it while it's set up. I used one of the small Dollar Tree tart tins from my last lockdown video to put on the bottom and raise up the entire tier tray. I just love this teeny tiny tiered tray. I am having so much fun trying to find alternate materials to make trays, and I love my cookie tin tiered tray. And I really hope you guys do too. All right, so like I told you, we had the original four, did this back on May 22nd, and we had fun, and we got such a great response from other YouTuber friends here in Ontario that we were like, let's do this again, and let's do it with everybody who wants to participate. So we encouraged our friends to go out and shop their favorite aisles. Shop the essential only aisles at their favorite dollar stores so they could DIY right along with us. Now, if you didn't see the last video and you're going, girl, what the heck are you talking about? Let me explain. We live in Ontario and we are under a pretty strict lockdown right now. That means that only essentials are available in Ontario, and the idea is to make everyone stay home until we can get this vaccine rollout all sorted. So that means, are you sitting down? Cool. That means the craft aisles are not available in our dollar stores. I know, shut the front door, but we decided we could handle this. And we decided that we would hit the pet aisle, the hardware aisle, the kitchen aisle, the food aisle, you name it. We pretty much explored it, and we found ways to make really fun, out of the box DIYs for you. Now remember, when you're done watching this video, head down to the playlist, click on that, and it's going to take you all the way through all the fun DIYs we all created for you today. Since you can't really have a tiered tray without a garland, I decided to take this Dollar Tree mop head and turn it into a really fun and simple garland. Now these white microfiber, I'm going to say, mop heads have two different kinds of material in them. Pull out the textured one, or at least that's what I did anyway, and I used these smaller untextured strips, and I am simply going to glue them end to end in order to create long enough pieces. However, in order that all of those pieces don't join at the same place, I'm going to offset them in the beginning by about thirds. I'm going to tie them together in a knot so I have a good place to start from, and then I'm just going to keep adding pieces, and because they're staggered, we're not going to end up with one big bulky piece as we work our way down the garland. Once I have all these pieces attached, I'm simply going to tape this down to my work surface and braid away. Now it is a little cumbersome at first because of the really long pieces, and I definitely put far more together than I needed to because I was only aiming for a small garland. To make the tassels for either end, I simply grabbed a bunch of those leftover pieces. I tied them on using those ends that were right there on my garland, and then I cinched them together with a little bit of twine. Then using my really cute black and white polka dot Dollar Tree ribbon, I just wrapped that around to bind the tassel and add a little bit of detail. You guys know I love a good garland with a tassel almost as much as I love a tiered tray, and just like the tiered tray, I am having so much fun finding unusual and alternate materials to make them with. For this lockdown DIY, I'm going to be using a Dollar Tree cookie pan at $1.50, and I'm going to take it outside and spray paint it with this oil rubbed bronze spray paint. Now, I want to see if you guys are picking up on this video what I could see in real life. It was shiny. Do you actually see that? It almost looks like I'm spraying glitter on it. So when I got it inside, I decided it just didn't have quite the farmhouse look I was looking for. So I simply took a little bit of my black acrylic paint and did a really light coat and just toned it down. Didn't want to obliterate it, but I really did want to tone it down just a touch. To get started on this DIY, which is a sign, I'm going to use my drill and create two very small holes right in this lip up at the top. You do definitely want to make sure your paint is dry when you do this, or all those little metal shavings will stick to your paint. Then, using a bunch of wooden beads that I have on hand, I believe I bought this set at Michael's, I'm going to thread them onto a wire and create a beautiful loop on top of my sign. For the first small bead, I did go ahead and put a little bit of glue on it to help hold it in place, and then I simply threaded on my larger beads and added one more small bead at the end. And I really love the look of this. I feel like I'm going to do this again with some other signs. Next up, I want to create a pocket, and I am going to use this pet bandana because, hello, if you can find Dollar Tree buffalo plaid in the pet aisle and you're in a lockdown, you're going to do what you got to do, right? Now I'm going to just use a little bit of hot glue to create a double hem right up at the top, and then I am just simply going to glue this onto my cookie sheet and sort of tuck it in and fold it as I go so that I'm not leaving any of the raw edges exposed. When that's all done, I am going to take some greenery that I had in my stash. Thank goodness I had been collecting greenery this spring before the lockdown started, and I had some really cute new ones on hand, including this one that, oh, I don't even know how to describe it. I picked it up at Dollarama. It's a great deal, and it's got almost like a feathery look to it. You guys tell me what you think down in the comments. Then I added a little bit of tiny white flowers left over from a previous DIY. And do you recognize this? This is the messy bow that I made for my last video, which was a partnership with Rose Forever New York, and I thought it was just perfect for what I was trying to finish off here. I love it when you can take something from an old DIY and use it on a new one. So what do you think, you guys? I think because of the way I created this pocket, this is one of those DIYs that can change seasonally so easy. I didn't glue any of that greenery in, so I can just pop it out and change it for the seasons. And let's face it, the black and white buffalo plaid has absolutely no season because it's perfect year round. Oh my goodness, this DIY, I almost quit so many times. So you can see here what I started with. Then the plan was to use another one of these and cut it apart. Oh my goodness, don't try to cut these apart. Use them the way they come or don't use them at all. My second idea was to use another one of the bamboo boards in between at the bottom, and that worked out much better. Now I'm going to use my homemade black chalk paint to paint the entire thing. Now these are a really unusual material, and my best advice to you is to do a couple of very thin coats, almost dry brushing coats. Up next, we have epic fail number 1. I have these cool Dollar Tree transfers. You've seen me use them before. I love them. I thought it would be really fun to create a wreath, except they didn't stick. Step 2, I sanded it and reapplied them. Still didn't work, so I went with my never fail Dollar Tree poster stickers. Sadly, I didn't have a number 1. I tried to create it with a couple of other things. I don't love it. I should have tried something different because honestly, and it's the way I recorded it, all I see is lawn. Every time I look at this, just lawn. Now I'm going to attach these using my E6000 and my hot glue and very, very carefully slip these in either side to create my finished caddy. Don't get me wrong, you guys, I do love this project, but it was just fail after fail after fail. I was so determined to finish it so that I could show what I could make with my lockdown materials, though, that I decided to persevere. But honestly, if you could have heard me while I was making this, I'm not sure if it was sad, pathetic, or absolutely gut-busting hilarious. I decided I wanted to create a handle using some rope, and I had to tie 2 really good sized knots to make it stay. I also added a couple of pasta jars that I had saved from the recycling. You guys, always save your good jars. You never know. Well, you never know when you're going to be in lockdown, and you never know when you're going to wish you had a couple of good pasta sauce jars. Now, some people might put this in the kitchen, but I decided to use it right here in my studio and put my favorite chalk painting brushes in it. Even after all those fails, I do enjoy this DIY, and I really hope you guys did too. So guys, that's a wrap on We're in Lockdown 2.0. I'd like to tell you that we are probably just about done with this, but I have a feeling it's going to be hanging around just a little bit longer. We're going to keep DIYing with all the stuff in our stashes, and we hope that all of these videos showed you, you know what, maybe there's more than the craft aisle at your favorite dollar store. Thanks for stopping by today, you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed today's video. Give it a like, and don't forget to go check out all the great creators on our playlist. We'll see you next time. Bye. Do not forget to check out these other videos, and of course join us over on social media at Facebook and Instagram at Lisa & Company, because you guys, you never know what you'll see over on our social media. Until then, we'll see you in the next video.